Man, what the hell is that noise? What the heck? Yo, I think she's alive. She's alive!
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
It was a not so cold, not so spooky, and not even nighttime on Halloween. Not only does this dead YouTube channel come back to life, Tuff's Garage, standing strong, but the JTO is also risen from the grave. But slacking time is over. I'm back on my grind. I locked in on the car, and here I am making a YouTube video for y'all. It is Halloween, so I had to make sure not only my dead YouTube channel rises from the grave, but the GTO comes back, and she's angry, believe me. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about what exactly I did to work on this car, and then we'll take it for a test drive. To get started, I had to lift the motor up just to bring down the oil pan because the GTO's got this big cross member in the way. This was the easiest way to do it. The reason I'm doing all this actually is because I might be a little bit what we call stupid. When I originally rebuilt the motor for the GTO, I didn't know on Pontiac motors the dipstick has to be hammered in from the inside of the block. So now it's just non-stop leaking oil like crazy and just spraying out, and it just, I have a smoke trail following me everywhere I go. I tried putting a restraining order on it, but it's still following me. But anyways, so I had to do all this work. You can see I pulled out the transmission right here, and now I'm pulling out the oil pump, and I'm trying to get to the bottom end, obviously with the motor still in the car to make my life easier. But really this just made my life harder because everything was so crammed, and I was just fighting for my life, doing yoga underneath the car, trying to fix it, As you can see, here's the crankshaft. Everything looks brand freaking new because obviously this is a brand new motor. I just put everything in here and everything's up and running, so everything's great. 20 miles at most and it's already broken down again, But anyways, here's me trying to hammer that dipstick in. The crankshaft bearings were in the way and putting it at a weird angle. So I was just trying with brute force to get this thing in. And here's a small clip of just, how messy it was under there, and the transmission that I pulled out. But basically, the main bearings holding the crankshaft in were putting it at a weird angle. And I ended up having to buy this air hammer to see if I can get it in by brute force. You can see I'm hammering it. And I'm hammering so much that it's breaking the extension tool. It's just like smushing down the end. And that was an expensive part from Butler. But you can see I'm trying everything I can to get this thing in. And I just know that I'm going to have to pull out the motor to take off the main bearing housing so I can, make sure that angle is better. I didn't want to do this underneath the car because with how much I had to torque it down and everything, I just didn't want to mess it up. So I came to the conclusion that pulling the motor would be better, which, as you see right here, me and my dad are pulling out the motor on the car. This isn't our first rodeo, so. Okay, we've currently pulled the motor out of the car. Now we're about to be mounting it to the engine mount over here. That was a lot easier than the first time we pulled it out, so. And as you can see in this clip, it is literally going in like nothing, and it made me feel very disappointed it took so long in the first place. Which now I'm going to be torquing down the main bearings, holding the crankshaft down. As you can see, I'm using all my might and it's still a pain in the butt, so I'm very glad I didn't do this under the car. And then pretty shortly I'm going to be adding the oil pump back to it. It was a struggle getting this aligned with the dipstick, so I had to do some fiddling. But it took me a little bit just to get the thing in because it wasn't aligning properly. but eventually I got it going. So I'm just finishing tying this oil pump down, and my dad's cleaning the block so we can add the oil pan gasket on it and make sure it's fully flushed properly. So we just installed the windage tray and had a struggle trying to make sure the dipstick fit properly, but luckily we forced that thing on. We just installed the oil pump. I'm about to torque it down, and then we'll put the gasket on it for the oil pan, and then it should be ready to go.
Do you want to do any touch-up paint if I ever have it out?
We will see. When we first rebuilt this motor, we only put one layer of paint, which I would not recommend. If you guys do, I'll do at least 2 or 3 coats, and maybe even a clear coat over it. Heat resistant paint, by the way, because that boy gets hot. We got the oil pan back on, secured, make sure no leaks, and now you can see we're putting the motor back in, which we've gotten so used to pulling this thing in and out and in and out, you know, we're basically like professionals, but not really professional at it, so. We got the motor in successfully, and now I'm just putting in the flywheel, and this thing was heavy as can be, and trying to bench it over my face sucked, and I got knocked the hell out by that thing. Like, golly, it was a pain. I mean, that, you know, obviously really hurt. That probably fell on my face like 18 times, but I'm just securing it with Loctite, making sure everything's tight, and I'm doing a star pattern to ensure that it's tight all around and also going in even. Because this, if it's barely off, it can cause a lot of vibration or just a imbalance and just cause a lot of different issues, but mainly a vibration thing. So got to make sure you use a star pattern all throughout. And then here's me. I had to take this in and out like 200 times. I ended up doing this again after this clip, which is putting in the pilot bearing. Because when we were putting the transmission in, just everything wasn't aligning properly, so I was just didn't know if it was this because we bought cheap bushings or if it was something else, so I had to redo this, which means I had to take off this clutch like 10 times, which was a pain in the butt, but you know, had to be done. So but I got everything hooked up, and I didn't record me putting the bell housing on. I have another video with me doing a whole transmission. Here's me actually getting the transmission fully flushed. I was so relieved when this happened. It took forever. I mean, forever. But everything is put back together and ready to roll. Now that everything's back together, here's that clip again of me starting up the car for the first time. As you can see, I put in a lot of work to get this thing back up and running. It was just a small test drive. I will be coming out with a video soon, hopefully, of more of the car and me driving it and actually enjoying the car instead of always working on the car. I know I've been slacking on the videos, but I might be making a comeback. I'm not going to make any promises because last time I was on that promise streak and promises were broken. So... but car's running now, so there will definitely be more car content coming up soon. And yeah, I'll be keep y'all updated. I'm not gonna yap too much this video. I have a habit of yapping too much. Yeah, but that basically wraps up just a little Halloween video for y'all, getting this thing back up and alive. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.